Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Cash's Conversation Corner. The media and, the standard Associated Press, the CNNs are liars. They're just liars. They just have been lying to all of us for so long, and it's crazy how long it really took me personally to get it. And I talk about this a little bit on one of my last videos. It was the Kamala Harris thing when she lied about Ron DeSantis being racist because of some curriculums some African American people came up with that had to do with slavery, and then she went on TV talk about how he was racist. That blew me away. That was like, they're all lying. At that point, I'm like, if that high up is lying, then the rest of them are like, this is the lie we follow. That just totally makes sense. So we're gonna go ahead and check this out. Karoline Leavitt, or I think, is that her name? I could be getting it wrong. I'm not super on top of all the names and pronunciations, so you go ahead and yell at me if you feel the need to. I do apologize for anybody's name that I might have mispronounced. But we're going to go ahead and take a look here and pull this up. I got a couple things around me here, but I wanted you guys to check this out real quick. So we're going to take a look here at this situation. Okay, perfect. So let's check this out. I think I kind of messed up my audio on the last one, so I think I figured it out here. So we're going to go ahead and just take a listen. Listen to this. Check this out, guys.
Millions of Americans watched our mentally incompetent president struggle with his day-to-day duties of this office. We watched our country be ran into the ground as a result, and nobody in the media wanted to write about that, talk about it. There were many reporters, I will say, right-leaning reporters who did talk about that, who didn't get awards, didn't get coverage. In fact, they were lambasted for their coverage. And I remember being on President Trump's campaign, talking about Joe Biden's clear mental incompetence and being accused by people in this room of manufacturing deep fake videos, trying to persuade the public into...
Dude, I was talking to a few people. I was talking to a few people that I knew around the time that everybody was covering all of this. Madagascar, Rexel, Nescent. Like, dude was. I was watching this stuff live. Like, you're watching him make these appearances live, and he's saying stuff like Nexel, Recent, and Madagascar, and we're just like. Yeah, people probably thought that I hit pause or something. Like, literally frozen. Like, what? And they were just going along with it. Like, it was just what it was. Liars, scumbags.
Not believing what they saw with their own eyes for many years. And I think it's about time the legacy media finally admits that was one of the greatest cover-ups and scandals that ever took place in American history, and certainly it did contribute to the decline in the trust that Americans have for the legacy media. Millions of Americans watched our mentally incompetent president struggle with his day-to-day duties.
Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I just can't even believe that that's the type of stuff we had to deal with for as long as we had. I mean, this is just nonsense. These people are just absolutely ridiculous. Let's hear a little bit more. Oh, I love this guy.
Okay. As you guys look at other judges, would you ever arrest somebody higher up on the judicial food chain, like a Milwaukee County?
I've never been, well, I should say it's been a long time since I've been a fan of any specific news correspondent personality beside the people that I watch, like on YouTube and Rumble and these independent, very well-credited news sources, because these guys on Fox and CNN and all of them are just absolute hacks for the most part. I mean, I give Fox a little bit of credit, but they still stick with some of the wording, and they stay in line with the way that everybody else is referencing a lot of these stories, and it's the wording that they use. We need to get away from these types of wording like undocumented citizens and stuff like that. Fox would still use stuff like that. So, I give them scorn on that behalf. But this dude right here, I think this is Peter Ducey, and I can't even believe I remember the dude's name, but that's just, he was killing it during the Biden administration. He was absolutely asking the right questions. He was crushing it. So I really like this guy. So let's take a listen and see what he's got to say.
Circuit judge for allegedly helping illegal immigrants get away. As you guys look at other judges, would you ever arrest somebody higher up on the judicial food chain, like a federal judge or even a Supreme Court justice?
Well, that's a hypothetical question. Again, I defer you to the Department of Justice for individuals that they are looking at or individual cases. But let's be clear about what this judge did. She obstructed federal law enforcement who were looking for an illegal alien in her courthouse. She showed that illegal alien the door to evade law enforcement officials. That is a clear-cut case of obstruction. You don't have to be a lawyer to.
That, I can't believe that. And people, and these stupid libs are still trying to say that there is something wrong with them arresting this judge. It is absolutely crazy. And like Tim was saying, Tim from Timcast, they're all in, dude. They are all in. They are not going to stop. They're not going to reflect and all of a sudden be like, oh, we were wrong for supporting a Maryland man, the El Salvadorian drug gang member that mercilessly beat his wife. It's just like they're going all in. They're not gonna stop. They're gonna keep going, and that's just all there is to it. This kind of stuff has to happen. Let's keep listening to what he's got to say here, what she's got to say about this.
Understand that. And so anyone who is breaking the law or obstructing federal law enforcement officials from doing their jobs is putting themselves at risk of being prosecuted. Absolutely.
Milwaukee County Circuit Judge.
Absolutely crazy. That's all I got really for you right now. It's just amazing that these guys keep going in on these nonsensical hoaxes, this stuff that's just absolutely ripping the fabric of our country apart. And I just feel like I'm such a part of it, even though nobody really knows me. I just feel like I'm such a part of it because I was running a business in St. Louis Park at the same time the George Floyd thing happened. George Floyd lived in St. Louis Park. That's where his residence was. And we fortunately didn't get our place burned down, and in that area didn't get burned down. It was a little bit out of the way, fortunately. But there were some other spots close to us. I think over by the Costco in St. Louis Park, they were getting hit, and they got their stuff boarded up. But we never got hit. For anybody who's wondering, me and my ex-wife were running Westwood Liquors in St. Louis Park. I think it's ran by an Asian couple now, or Asian family. Really cool people. I didn't like the area. I grew up in Minneapolis North, a little bit over south. I didn't really spend too much time in St. Louis Park until just recently. But it was a nightmare going home every night and staring at my camera, because we had a camera system, so I'd be looking to see if somebody's breaking in and burning the place down every now and again, because it was really worrying at that time. Like I said, I feel like I was kind of in the middle of it, even though I'm not anybody special. I was like, oh crap, dude, man, we're really living through history, and we're right in like the literal middle of it. In that whole area, I've grown up in all of the places that you guys have seen that they burnt down in Minneapolis and in Minnesota. I grew up around all of those areas. I was born in Chicago. I only lived in Chicago, Illinois for, I don't know, until I was about 7, I think 7, between 7 and 10. And then my parents moved here to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I've been here for the rest of my life. See, I'm not a Minnesota man. I'm a Chicago man. But yeah, I'm glad my parents left Chicago and moved here. I am thankful for that. But these people are just never going to stop. So we got to keep putting these videos out. We got to keep letting people understand that these are lies from these scumbag politicians and judges. And these people are trying to rip our freaking country apart. We are all here about America first. That's what I'm about, and that's what we need to be about. So I appreciate you guys joining me here on another episode of Cash's Conversation Corner. And I'm having people hit me up telling me they can make my channel better. I appreciate it, but I still got tons of ideas on things that I am going to do to increase the volume and viewage and all of that stuff on my channel. But if anything else, watch it. Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. But I don't need any special assistance right now, but I do appreciate anybody who says anything nice about my videos. Or, anything not nice. I'm the kind of person that takes all criticism constructive, because if you're not telling me something about myself that I can reflect on, you're telling me something about you. So that's how you always take criticism constructively. All right, once again, thank you very much for joining me here on Cash's Conversation Corner. You guys keep it real, America first, and I'll see you guys next time.